people sometimes get defensive when you're, raising these concerns with them. How do you, I guess, combat that is probably the wrong term, but how do you continue the dialogue when there's some defensiveness?
It obviously depends on the level of defensiveness and why they're taking offense. Oftentimes, it's just encouraging them to see it from someone else's point of view. I find a lot of times, usually I can tell that they didn't mean to do it. In the cases of, the engineer that asked, do you know SQL? Or other things, it didn't occur to them that they were being a jerk. So it's easier in my mind to put someone off the defense if you can make it clear to them that you understand they didn't do this on purpose. You weren't trying to hurt this person, you weren't trying to be kind of a jerk, just trying to let you know for future instances so you don't do this again. That helps a lot of times for me to take people off the defensive. Sometimes they just won't come off it.
Okay, thanks. Any other questions?
Hi. What's the hardest obstacle you faced?
Sorry?
What's the hardest obstacle you faced?
The hardest obstacle I faced. My current job is very flexible and very accepting of my being a parent. Getting started in tech and being a mother is difficult. I have had a number of interviews. I've never worked for a company that didn't appreciate it, but I've had a number of interviews where, as a woman, somebody asked me, do you plan on having more children? In an interview, which is disgusting. And I would assume that there are probably a number of jobs that I didn't get because I was a mom, because there are just different values that you have when you have children. That was probably, being a mom in tech was probably one of my biggest struggles. I don't really know, I guess.
Okay, we have time for one more question. In the front row here.
Right, so I very recently had a scenario where somebody that isn't a minority actually wasn't aware of something and was telling me to treat somebody in the same minority in a very different way that would make things worse. How do you deal with these situations? Like, how do you tell them, no, this is wrong, without making them feel like even more depreciated?
So in a minority was telling you to treat
in this specific case, a woman telling me to treat a woman in a different way, making it actually worse because it's so ingrained.
Just because women are a minority doesn't make them any less susceptible to the kind of ingrained, insidious things that go on. So, I would address it very much in the same way that I would address it to a man. I've met women myself who say a lot of the, not all men and do a lot of the harassment apology type things. Being a woman doesn't make them, immune to the different kinds of conditioning. There are a lot of women that don't see a problem, and a lot of men that don't see a problem. So I usually kind of classify people that way, more people who don't understand the problem or don't see that there's a problem. So if a woman were telling me to treat another woman a specific way, woman A not seeing the problem, I would probably treat her just like I would treat a man who didn't see the problem. There's a problem, and the things that you're telling me to do are problematic, and here's why. And here's ways that I think are better. So I don't think that just being a woman makes you woke, as it were. Yeah, no, I can understand that. How would you talk to a man who said the same thing? I don't think that you would be talking down to a man. Okay, wow. Find better ways to talk to people about this. Try not to be condescending. No, I think it's very valid to say that, what you're suggesting for me to do, I find problematic, and this is why. There's a lot of, I statements are good. So when you say I feel and I think and the way I understand this, it's stating your opinion, it's stating your worldview, it's stating the way you see things, and not so much just immutable fact. And I find that is usually more receptive to people when you don't say like, this is wrong. You say, I feel this is wrong. It usually makes people a little bit more receptive to what you're saying. But I mean, happy to talk more about it later.